everybody. Mark Levin here. This is hour 3. Our number 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. We do have a breaking story here. Democratic Senator Mark Warner of Virginia texted with Russian oligarch lobbyist in an effort to contact dossier author Christopher Steele. This is Ed Henry breaking the news for Fox News. Senator Mark Warner, this guy's a sleazeball, this Mark Warner, the top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, who's been leading a congressional investigation into President Trump's alleged ties to Russia, had extensive contact last year with a lobbyist for a Russian oligarch who was offering Warner access to former British spy and dossier author Christopher Steele, according to text messages obtained exclusively by Fox. You know what I would like to know? How many of these senators and congressmen, how many of them have had contacts with Russians or go-betweens with Russia? We have so much to discuss. You need to be careful. But we can help our country, Warner texted the lobbyist, Adam Waldman, on March 22, 2017. I'm in, Waldman said, whose firm has ties to Hillary Clinton. Now, Steele famously put together, as you know, the anti-Trump dossier of unverified information that was used by FBI and Justice Department officials in October 2016 to get a warrant, as you know. And Steele hasn't testified yet either. He's not agreed to an interview. Secrecy seemed very important to Warner as the conversation with Waldman, the lobbyist, heated up on March 29. When the lobbyist revealed that Steele wanted a bipartisan letter from Warner and the committee's chairman, North Carolina Republican Senator Richard Burr, inviting him to talk to the Senate Intelligence Panel. Throughout the text exchanges, Warner seemed particularly intent on connecting directly with Steele without anyone else on the Senate Intelligence Committee being in the loop, at least initially. In one text to the lobbyist, Warner wrote that he would, quote, rather not have a paper trail, unquote, of his messages. Why? Because he's a gutless wonder sleaze. That's why. An aide to Mark Warner confirmed to Fox News that the text messages are authentic. The messages, which were obtained from a Republican source, are all marked confidential and are not classified. They were turned over to the Senate panel by Waldman last September. Now, Waldman, who did not return calls seeking comments, runs the Endeavor Group in Washington. And Waldman is best known for signing a $40,000 a month retainer in 2009 and 2010 to lobby the U.S. government on behalf of a controversial Russian billionaire, Oleg Deripaska. Deripaska, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, sounds good, had his visa revoked by the State Department in 2006 because of charges, which he has denied that he has organized crime ties. So let's just slow down. So Mark Warner is trying to make inroads through a lobbyist who represents, among others, this controversial Russian billionaire that the State Department has revoked, or the State Department revoked his visa because they claim he has organized crime ties. An aide to Richard Burr, the feckless, useless Republican chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, told Fox News that Burr was aware of the contact Warner made with Steele's representative, but added, I don't believe he was aware of the content of the text messages initially. What is the use of this Richard Burr? Can anybody tell me? The senators released a joint statement to Fox News, so they issue a joint statement because Burr is going to try and give cover to his big buddy, Warner, stressing they are working together while blasting the leaks of incomplete information. Now, they don't blast the leaks of incomplete information when it's against Donald Trump, do they? Or Donald Trump Jr. They said the committee has been in possession of this material for several months, and committee investigators have pursued all relevant investigative leads related to the material. From the beginning of our investigation, we have taken each step in a bipartisan. There's that word bipartisan. Like that fixes everything. The Senate Intelligence Committee up to now has done nothing. It's been the House Intelligence Committee and the Senate Judiciary Committee. From the beginning of our investigation, we've taken each step in a bipartisan way, and we intend to continue to do so, Warner and Burr said in a statement. Leaks of incomplete information out of context by anyone, inside or outside the committee, are unacceptable. Good, then give us the context. You have the top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee trying to glean information from Christopher Steele by going through a lobbyist who, among other things, was on the payroll of a Russian organized crime billionaire. At least that's the allegation from the State Department, that pulled his visa ticket. And here you have Richard Burr trying to give cover to Warner. I'd say that's pretty amazing. Now, the conversation about Steele started on March 16, 2017, when Waldman texted, "Chris Steele asked me to call you." Warner responded, "We'll call tomorrow. Be careful." The records show Warner and Waldman had trouble connecting by phone. On March 20, Warner pressed Waldman by text to get him access to Steele. Why was Warner going around the committee structure? Maybe Mr. Burr can inform us. Maybe Mr. Low IQ can inform us. Why was Warner going around the committee to speak to Christopher Steele? Can you talk now? Can you talk tomorrow? Want to get with your English friend, Warner texted. Meaning Steele. Warner, he's so clever. If I say English friend, they won't know that I mean Christopher Steele. I spoke to him yesterday, Waldman texted. The two men appear to have finally connected about Steele by phone on March 22, according to the records. Hey, just tried you again. Got to give a speech, but really want to finish our talk, Warner texted. Now, Waldman, the lobbyist, at one point texted back that Steele really wanted a bipartisan letter requesting his first testimony. He added that Steele was concerned about word leaking to the media that they were talking. In one text, Senator Warner suggested he did not want Burr or any other senator included in the discussions. Okay, but I would like to do preliminary call, you, me, and him, no one else, before letter just so we have to trail. Does Mr. Warner know how to write English? Does he know how to speak English? Does he know how to write properly? Okay, this is Warner, but I would like to do prelim call, you, me, and him, no one else, before letter, just so we have to trail to start, want to discuss scope first before letter, no leaks. What an idiot. Waldman noted repeatedly that Steele was concerned about leaks and was spooked by all the attention he had received around the world. Steele, he said, was skittish about talking to Warner. Why? It's incomprehensible. He's speaking in pig Latin. Warner texted back on March 30th. We want to do this right, private in London. Don't want to send letter yet, cause if we can't get agreement, would rather not have paper trail. You see, over and over, Warner doesn't want a paper trail. Now, if there's nothing wrong with any of this, then why is Warner conducting himself as if he himself is a mobster? On April 5, Warner texted, any word on Steele, so you see how aggressive he is trying to get a hold of Steele and go around the committee. But Richard Burr sees no problem with this whatsoever. So, Waldman, the lobbyist, writes him back. Yes, seems to have cold feet from leaks. Said he wanted a bipartisan letter followed by written questions. In the text messages, Warner also discussed the possibility of a trip to see Steele. On March 23, Warner texted, need to coordinate date for trip. Can you talk with my scheduler? Also want to discuss Paul, an apparent reference to former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort, whose initials are used in the next text by Waldman. Can you believe this? Unbelievable to me. On March 26, Senator Warner texted, really need to set date. Things are going to really pick up. Standing by to do it, texted Waldman, the lobbyist, awaiting call from your scheduler and also the letter he, Steele, would like, which they discussed. And have second interesting thing to raise. Please call. But after calls back and forth, Warner made clear that he wanted to talk to Steele directly without Burr or anyone else being involved, even though Steele was insisting through Waldman that the contact start with a bipartisan letter inviting him to cooperate with the Senate panel. In other words, this sleazebag Christopher Steele who wrote the dossier, has more ethics than the sleazebag Democrat senator, the ranking member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner. Hey, can't we do brief off-the-record call today before letter so I can frame letter, Warner texted Waldman on March 29. Steele wants to have letter first. Or did you mean call with me, Waldman texts. Anyway, you get the point. You get the point. So you have Schiff, who thinks he's getting information, dirt on Trump, naked pictures, in order to do what? Blackmail the president? Force him out of office? Do what? And he goes around the committee. You have Warner, who goes around the committee, who wants to get a hold of Steele, doesn't want Burr involved, doesn't want the committee involved, doesn't want anyone else involved, wants to talk about Trump and also wants to talk about Manafort. And Richard Burr, the idiot chairman, the Republican idiot chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, doesn't find anything really wrong with this. So he issues a joint letter. Bipartisanship, ladies and gentlemen, bipartisanship. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.